I want to be able to reframe those thoughts of insecurity.
If you control your mind, you have controlled everything.
Okay, let me give you the backstory. So I've been living in Santa Monica for the past year, and I've only gone surfing one time in December of 2020. I remember that first time surfing, it was freezing cold and I kept getting flipped under the water, and I had this deep down fear of surfing with zero confidence in my abilities. In 2021, I had the idea to go to Costa Rica. While I was researching the country, I came across this woman named Adrienne Chandra Huff on LinkedIn, and I saw her bio was surfer and word wizard. Intrigued, I saw that she was the founder of something called Bodhi, which is a surf and yoga camp located in Bahia Ballena, Osa, Costa Rica. So I decided to hop on a phone with her to hear more of the Bodhi story.
So my name is Adrienne Chandra Huff, and I am one of the co-founders of Bodhi Surf and Yoga. We've always tried to do things a little differently, and I remember at the very beginning, we would do beach cleanups.
I learned that Bodhi isn't just a surf and yoga camp. For one, they are a 1% for the planet member, meaning they use their business as a force for good and donate 1% of their profits to environmental causes. And they've been carbon neutral since 2019. Their main mission is to educate, inspire, and empower others to live sustainably through surfing, yoga, nature immersion, and community engagement. Through a Bodhi experience, they hope to create ocean guardians and environmental stewards. After learning about this, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm actually vegan and plant-based. I care very much about the environment. I'm also very passionate about mission-driven and social impact companies. So I decided to experience this for myself. So I had a few things I want to find out. Number one, will I really learn how to surf in 5 days and fully let go of my fear of the water? Number two, will I come out with a newfound sense of what it means to live sustainably? Or is sustainability just a buzzword that they're using? Number three, how will my purpose be reawakened after just 7 days? And number four, for those running Bodhi, how will their passion for what they do inspire others? Well, we're about to find out. So let me take you on a little adventure back to November 27th, 2021. I hopped on a shuttle from San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica. We were riding down with the other attendees all the way to Uvita, a coastal community in the southern part of the country. Almost everyone knocked out on the bus for the next 3 hours, and we even made a few pit stops to see some crocodiles.
Down there, literally just chilling.
At around 7 p.m., we arrived at Bodhi and were greeted by Anki, the videographer and our yoga instructor for the week. We were immediately taken upstairs to our assigned rooms, where I dropped off all my bags. Then Anki started telling me a little bit of the meaning behind the symbols above each of our doors.
The left sign basically is a chakra from the yogic world, and the translation down here to love is the translation of the chakra.
Then we headed to our welcome dinner, where Adrienne greeted everyone, and we were introduced to our fellow attendees for the week. Mandy and Karen, Katie, and a couple named Andres and Steph. At this point, I was excited, but a little nervous. I am usually super social and extroverted with my friends, but I realize I kind of tense up and get anxious when I'm in new environments. Apparently today is the busiest day, Sunday. We have our 7 a.m. breakfast downstairs waiting for us, and then a community walking tour, some yoga, and our very first surf session. The first morning, we woke up to an incredible breakfast made by Fanny, the chef at Bodhi, who I must thank for making us the most delicious and fresh meals, which would be super necessary for our surf days. Breakfast was so delicious. Thank you very much, Fanny.
7 a.m. breakfast, check. Now on to our 8 a.m. community walk.
In the back.
Ooh.
The purpose of the community walk is to learn about the space in town we'll be occupying for the next week. This is Wayner, who is our guide for the next 2 hours. He started off by sharing some of the customs of Bahia Ballena, like always saying hi to anyone you see passing by you on the street. We also tried these miracle berries, which can make sour foods taste sweet after leaving it in your mouth for 1 minute.
We have our skin off. Let's put it in our mouth.
Keep it in your mouth for 1 minute. It's not a big favor, so let's go. Right there, work.
Gracias. And then now we're trying this fruit.
Leave it alright. Leave it alright.
How do you like the lemon?
It's good. I really like it.
We later stopped by to get some coconuts from this man on the side of the road.
Okay, we have our fresh coconut juice here. It's really good. How's your coconut juice? It's delicious. Something that our guide mentioned was that, you know, it's all about supporting the community, and they could go and have coconut juice and get coconut juice somewhere else, but this man here is selling on the side of the road, and now we get to support.
This was definitely a consistent theme throughout our walk. The importance of sharing and supporting one another in the community, as well as working together to get more people involved in projects, like this Bahia Ballena plastic whale, which is a part of their plastic-free initiative to reduce plastic consumption.
Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up the community tour. That was super cool, getting to just walk around Uvita in this small town and learn a little bit more about the culture and the history here.
When we got back, we did our first yoga session with Anki at 10:30 a.m.
React in compassion and in love towards myself.
We started off with taking some time to connect with our breath, stretch, and then went into a more vinyasa style with balancing poses. I felt so calm and at peace during this practice, and it was exactly what I needed going into our first surf session. Typically, there's always a lot going on in my head, and I stress myself out more than I need to, but this hour and a half with Anki really allowed me to clear my mind and feel more at ease.
And exhale, release the hands next to the hips.
Okay, we are now headed to our first surf session. So I'm excited. Are you feeling excited?
So excited. Surf's up.
Surf's up.
This is Spencer, our surf instructor for the week. We start off by sharing our experiences, goals, and limitations for our surfing. Everyone had at least a little experience on a surfboard, so no one was going in completely blind. My goals were simple: to catch more waves, get better, and feel confident in my surf abilities. This first session was all about introducing us to the surfboard, like how to attach the leash to our foot and appropriately carry it into the water. We also learned what the different parts of the board are used for. Our main task for today was to go out into stomach-deep water without the waves knocking it out of our hands, turn around, pop onto the board, then ride the wave on our belly.
We just caught some of my first waves. We weren't allowed to stand up, but we were just doing it, putting our hands down like this. Went up into Cobra as soon as we, feel the wave taking us. So I see the connection between the yoga and surf now, better than I thought.
At this point, this is where it really dawned on me how our yoga practice would be beneficial to our surfing, not just for reminding us to stay calm in the water, but also with our body movements.
Alright guys, we just finished our first sunset surf session, and I think I caught about 4 waves this time. I think I've definitely improved since my very first time surfing. I was feeling pretty nervous in the beginning, like not very confident in my surfing skills, but I feel like after today I was able to get up 4 times, catch those waves, and I'm feeling a little more confident. So I'm excited to see how I'm gonna do by the end of this week.
Alright, so Monday. I'm starting to get into the groove of things. This morning we started off with 7 a.m. yoga, where our focus was on back bends to energize ourselves and balancing poses to challenge our bodies in a different way.
So we just finished our second yoga session here at Bodhi, learned some new poses that I've never done before, and now we are about to head downstairs and have some breakfast. It's almost 9 a.m. and this is a good day because we're going to be tasting and having some of the more traditional Costa Rican cuisine. So we have our breakfast number 2 plate here. We have some vegan cheese, avocado, pinto gallo, which is rice with beans, plantains, and a tortilla.
Properly fueling ourselves during the day definitely proved to be important to our surfing because the sport can take a lot of energy out of you. After breakfast, we ended up having a lot of free time until our afternoon surf session, so I mainly just relaxed at the lodge and relaxed.
You have a free hand? Yeah. Thank you.
Let's do this.
Let's see how many waves I can catch today.
This time, Spencer taught us how to analyze the surfing conditions, taking into consideration the wind, tide, wave size and shape, and threats. We next learned the prone drill to figure out how to adjust our weight and move our bodies to slow down, speed up, and turn while standing on the board. So my goals for today, it was time to head into the water. I was feeling super optimistic this day. At first, I attempted to stand up a few times, but of course I kept falling over and over. But then something switched on in my brain and I kept catching wave after wave and I felt unstoppable. My adrenaline was so high and I couldn't believe I was actually doing it. I ended up catching 13 or 14 waves. So way more than I had expected, for sure. Feeling pretty happy and that already exceeded my expectations. I'm like actually learning how to surf. Who would have thought? So I'm gonna go take a shower now and I'll see you at dinner. All right, this was probably my favorite dinner of the week. Fanny made us these delicious patacones topped with guacamole. Oh, and this is George. He's the intern at Bodhi. He was making us some delicious drinks as well.
This is called a Bahia Sunset, and it's just some maracuja, which is just passion fruit juice with sugar, and a shot and a half of white rum, and some ice, and we just shake it up just for a few seconds. Make sure it's nice and cool.
Wow, bartender
Yes,
George.
yes. I learned this one from Adrienne. She taught me this recipe. And it's Bahia Sunset.
Ooh.
We ended the night cheersing to the amazing day and remaining week ahead.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday morning. We just got some coffee and now we're heading into our 7 a.m. yoga session. Feeling good.
The focus today was on more of a reset with hip openers. I learned that our hip muscles contract whenever we get stressed or anxious, and people say these emotions get stored in the muscle and cause them to be stiff. So this class was all about releasing that tension and those emotions we might be holding on to. This is exactly what I needed because anxiety and stress often come back to haunt me in one form or another. Anki also read us a page from the Yoga Sutra book, which really resonated with me, where she talked about how our entire world is based on our thoughts and mentality. So whether we feel bondage or liberation, that is based on our own attitude.
If you control your mind, you have controlled everything. Then there is nothing in this world to bind you.
This brought up a lot of feelings of the pressure I constantly put on myself that sometimes makes me feel suffocated. And I couldn't help but cry.
I want to be able to reframe those thoughts of insecurity and feel more confident with what I'm doing and be mindful and aware of how I am feeling.
It was something I had to face at some point, and I'm glad I was honestly able to let out how I was feeling deep down. And I felt really relieved after.
You did a fantastic yoga session this morning.
good.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It was really fun. It's really fun with this group and with Isabel, obviously.
All right, guys, we are about to head off to our third surf session. This time we're doing a morning surf. It's like 10:30, so we're gonna head down now. Don't want to be late, so I'll see you at the beach.
All right, guys, so we just got here to the beach. Want to kind of set some intentions and goals for myself for this session. I want to be able to get out of my head and be not as focused on like, am I doing it right? Am I like, all of those nerves. I want to be able to look out into the water and, you know, really appreciate the moment that I'm in and like where I am at, because we're in such a beautiful location here in Costa Rica. So less focused in my head and more focused on enjoying the moment. And I also want to get better at my turns and and just have fun and catch some good waves today. I also asked the rest of the group what their goals and intentions were.
To try and stand up.
Positioning, turning, riding for longer, and jumping out.
On turning, because I don't know how to do that. To just be more comfortable, like in my own skin out in the water, but not take it for granted.
I want to get out of my head.
Yes, I agree. Same.
Okay, so I had all these somewhat ambitious goals, but turned out the tides were super choppy this day. Spencer let us know that the tides were pulling out a lot, causing rip currents, which could be a big threat. Since the waves were also getting pretty high, this made it an appropriate day to learn the turtle roll, which we were to perform if we couldn't see over the top of our plank. So we would need to grab the rails and flip under, then flip back on. Spencer also taught us the sit and spin to catch a wave.
Okay, so we just got back, finished our third surf session. Like I mentioned, the waves were definitely super choppy today, so it was a little bit difficult. So I think I caught a total of like 5 waves. I was able to go into my left direction a bit, to my right direction, so that was good. Confidence-wise, I definitely will say, for sure, feeling a lot more confident in the water. Not scared. Now we have a little bit of downtime for pretty much the rest of the day. Some people are off to the deli, and then we might go to pizza time later. So yeah, I'm gonna probably get a little bit of work done and see you when I see you.
Guys, so we are now getting some dinner. We got a little dressed up today. We're at pizza time. The dinners are probably one of my favorite parts about Bodhi. 1, I love food, but 2, I feel like those are the moments where you can just sit down with everyone and connect. Talk about the highs of the day, the best parts about surfing, what we accomplished, but also the difficult aspects, and just get to know one another better. So the community aspect of Bodhi is definitely without question. Wednesday was our free day and rest day, which was super necessary, and I actually decided to go out and explore on my own. I visited the local market in Uvita, where I got to talk to so many cool people there, and later went to an incredible restaurant called Rancho Cielo Alto, where I ate some of the best vegan food I've ever had, and talked to the talented chef named Jasmine. I'm actually making separate videos for this adventure, so stay tuned for that. Thursday, we started off the morning with an incredible 6 a.m. yoga session on the beach. It was a bit early, but so worth it to experience the sunrise right by the water while doing yoga and feel connected to the nature around us. This day, we started with a mini meditation, then went into a more dynamic vinyasa class, and our main intention was to give us tools to apply at home. Something about that morning felt so magical.
Back in the old days, we actually used to do surf at 5 sometimes.
Morning yoga session completed. Just got back to the lodge. We have an earlier breakfast today at 8:30, but it looks like Fanny's cooking something in the kitchen right now.
During breakfast, we had our surf analysis with Spencer to see what to improve on for our technique. For me, I needed to focus on taking a few more paddles into the wave and work on bringing my back foot forward so I could stay more balanced. I also needed to focus on rotating my shoulders and head while bending my knees. And lastly, I needed to work on creating a rhythm when I paddle.
Be a little bit more like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
This analysis was incredibly helpful, especially seeing visuals of what I was doing wrong.
I just finished the surf analysis and now I have some pointers as far as where I can improve, and so I'm going to try to implement that in today's surf session.
Alright, so today the conditions were great, and Spencer wanted us to focus on our pop-up, really nail our low position, and turn left or right. We were also challenged to go farther out into the water to catch some waves.
I literally just caught a green wave all the way, the first back I've ever done before, and I was able to focus in a little bit more on, keeping my knees a little more bent and the direction that I was heading. So I'm pretty stoked. I am learning and I'm getting better. So, yay.
I was feeling pretty accomplished after that surf session, and afterwards at around 1 p.m. we all ventured off to see a waterfall.
All right, and just a couple minutes in, we have found the waterfall. It's quite beautiful. We have our last dinner here at Bodhi getting made in the kitchen. What are you making out here?
Just chopped up a little salad. Secret ingredient for all of the food is love.
Ah, that's the best ingredient. It's reached the time of night where it has become a dance party here at Bodhi.
This was probably one of the most fun nights, just seeing everyone let loose and have fun on the dance floor.
Good bend down. Okay. Stick the booty out. Back
I don't know what that is.
It was finally Friday, our last day. This was a holistic yoga session of everything we learned, and at the end, I asked Anki what she hopes people would take away from practicing yoga.
One thing that always sticks with me is how to achieve yoga, how to achieve union within yourself is also to serve others. To see not beyond yourself, what can I do for others? Take some time to reset for yourself in order then actually to level up and also be able to serve better.
We now have our last breakfast at Bodhi. We have some delicious oatmeal here and some chia seed pudding and our fruits. Alright guys, we are on our last surf session and excited to get out into the water. It's a little bittersweet, but looks like the conditions are not too bad. They look pretty good today. So without further ado, let's get into it. How are you feeling today, Adrian, about our last surf session? I'm excited. It was really nice.
Spencer started off by reminding us of some surf etiquette, like being able to look over both ways and make sure we don't cause a collision when there's a lot of people out there who might be trying to take the same wave as you. And with that, it was time to apply everything else we learned over the past week. I was ready to kill it out there, so I immediately started off by going into the green water, but found myself sitting on my board waiting for almost the entire time. The ocean definitely had other plans for me this day. I also kept getting smacked in the waves and kept overthinking literally every move I was making. I was getting so exhausted and frustrated. I honestly felt so hopeless. I had 5 days of surf lessons and still could not catch a single wave today. I felt like my confidence was going down again, but I did not give up. Adrienne ended up coming over to help me, and I decided to switch strategies, and instead of going for a green wave, I got closer to the whitewater to catch a whitewater wave. And finally, I caught a wave. And another. And another. I smiled and tried to remember all the techniques I needed to implement from this week. I did it. Thank goodness. Surfing can be so much fun, especially when you stop trying to control everything. Though it was challenging at the beginning, I felt accomplished having caught some waves on my last day of this amazing trip. Our Bodhi experience was almost coming to a close. We got back to the lodge, freshened up, then it was time for our Bodhi graduation ceremony, where we did a gratitude circle.
And for me, lessons from nature and connection. And thank you all for coming and for choosing us. And it's just been a real pleasure and delight to have you all here. So, gracias.
Later, I asked if anyone else wanted to share some thoughts on camera.
You learn a lot about yourself, and I realized like I'm holding myself back in a lot of ways. And so it was really rewarding in its own right.
It's really nice to see how everyone really comes together, and we're not just here for ourselves, we're here for each other, we're here for, you know, the environment, the community. So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts that I have at the end of this amazing week.
Cool, thanks.
That's good, that's good.
Woo!
Listening to George talk and recounting my entire experience with the staff who put this camp on, I began to see how powerful passion is. Everyone here at Bodhi is so passionate about educating, inspiring, and empowering us during our 7 days, and it was confirmed that passion and exploration can truly lead to more fulfillment and happiness in life. I began to think about my experience and how my initial questions were answered. Did I learn how to surf in 5 days and let go of my fear of the water? Absolutely. But I also realized it's not about how many waves that you catch, but it's about how you're improving every day. And that's a lesson that you can apply to pretty much anything else in your life. Did this experience provide me with a newfound sense of what it means to live sustainably? Yes. After seeing how they reduce their plastic waste, carbon emissions, live simply, and enjoy life. It's so true that we don't need so many things, but what we need are more life-changing experiences. And lastly, did I feel reawakened and a newfound sense of connecting with myself and my purpose? Absolutely. Being out there in the water and doing yoga every day allows you to connect with yourself and nature in a way that we don't typically do. Walking through the community and seeing how they support one another, like the man selling coconuts on the side of the road, and witnessing how Bodhi decides to do things differently to positively impact the world, is inspiring in and of itself. So with that, that's all I have for you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment below letting me know what your favorite part was, your favorite takeaway, and would you learn how to surf in 5 days? I think you should. It's so much fun and you learn a lot. Thank you so much, Bodhi, for having me. It was truly the best experience. I'm so grateful. And everyone stay tuned for the next video in my Costa Rica series. Bye.